Welcome all tonight. So just if we can have some cooperation in relation to the boys, because we understand this is very new to us tonight. So I'd like to first of all introduce myself. My name's Ian Ross. I'm president of the club. For anybody who hasn't met me before, if you have, well, I'm sorry, I'm back in flesh again. Yeah. Anyway, so tonight is a lot of new stuff has happened and is going on. It's the first lot of firsts we've had over COVID, isn't it? But and this is another one. So we'll see how we go. We've done a lot of testing, and I'd like to say thanks to Rob LaVersha, who's actually at home twinkling the ivories and well, keyboard, sorry. And we've got Laurie and Michael as well up the front here giving me some assistance. So it's very much changed. We've got a lot of computers going on around us and a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes just to make this all happen tonight. So we're going to try and keep in line with our agenda. We might have to move things around if we have any issues or problems. From a technological point of view, we've got a camera of the room from over in the corner there, and we'll sort of interchange between that. So obviously one of the challenges about us getting together has been this venue and technology and people's acceptance of the fact that you know, we are somewhat out of COVID. Some of our people that are joining us tonight, whether it be via Zoom or Facebook, we hope to see you again sometime soon. To get to tonight, we actually have had 3 sessions at this venue just to get to tonight. And so I'd like to express a big vote of thanks to Michael, Laurie and Rob for just getting us to this point. So if we just please recognise and say thank you to them. So elsewhere in the media and the news, where some of us have seen the first snippets of the 300 series, and very squarish. But anyway, it'll be exciting to see the car in the flesh in due course. It's funny though, when I was reflecting on this, I sort of thought, you know, every model year, whether it's been the 100 series, the 200 series, or even the 80 series, they've all had runs of around about 11 to 12 years between them. And for a normal car, that's pretty much unheard of, normal model out there. Apart from the tweaking of, you know, the interior and maybe, you know, moving a few bits and pieces on the outside, it just never ceases to amaze me just how long they get out of each model run. So it'll be interesting to see whether the 300 series also does the same thing. The maintenance and construction weekends have been going along well, and we're going to have a report back later on that tonight, just with some video, etc. Obviously, there's a lot of catch-up work that's got to be done there, and I've recently met with Brian and had a little bit of a chat about how things are going up there, and you know, it never ceases to amaze me how you get the group of people together to get all the workload done. So, and there's a maintenance construction weekend this weekend coming, isn't it? So just a reminder, you're all welcome, but don't forget, if you're going to Yark for any reason at all, you must book in via Wild Apricot. Please don't forget to do that. That is part of our COVID requirements, just to keep tabs, but it's just so that we don't exceed our numbers, etc. It also helps in another way, and that is we use Wild Apricot to collect club statistics in relation to people's participation in certain events, etc., which may be called upon for things like awards or recognition in the future. The Rules Subcommittee's been working away. Obviously, there's been quite a lot of extensive feedback, and they're still working on that. And obviously, there's a few changes, significant changes to be considered in that run. So they're actually moving along with that quite well. But the good news is it is happening. Cruiser Carn is coming up. very close, and I no doubt I think Forge is joining us tonight. Yep. So Forge will come on later on and talk to you a little bit about Cruzicana, but at the last last maintenance construction weekend, they had a group of people there working on some of the events, etc. for Cruzicana. Don't forget that Queen's Birthday weekend is coming up, and at some point those tracks will be closed for the winter hiatus, and just take care on the wet tracks, especially if you're out and about at the moment, because some of them are already very slippery. Look, I just wanted to also extend a fact to you that lots of volunteers in this club do a lot of great work, and all of them can be appreciated. And this month I would like to extend a thanks to my committee. It's been a tough time for us. The stuff that this committee has had to go through in the last 12 months has been really extraordinary, dealing with issues we just never thought you'd ever have to deal with. But it's also been good in some ways, because we've learnt new tricks and ideas and things along the way. But our committee meets a minimum of twice a month, and often it's more than that at the moment, which, if you go back to when I first joined as president, was it 20 odd years ago, we probably meet each other once a month and that was it. But now it's 2 to 3 meetings a month, emails every day, phone calls, etc. So there's a lot going on, and a lot that often goes, it's a bit like that duck on the water. Those feet underneath, trust me, are really moving, folks. So that's pretty much all that I've got to report on so far. There will be a couple of other things I'll touch on as we go later on through this meeting. And let's hope that we have a good run. Okay, I remissed on one thing at the beginning. We normally welcome our new members or guests tonight. So could I ask, please, that perhaps are there any guests tonight? If you could just stand up and be recognised, and if you don't worry, I don't mind. And good welcome tonight. And perhaps if we could, Michael, could you are there any other people? Is that it? So welcome aboard tonight. If there's anybody joining us from Zoom, we'll have to work out a better way of introducing you next time. All right, we'll move on with, we've got a video next of the Tingari trip. Edited. Yes, that too, Tingaringi, edited by Viv Gardner.
it used to be, but still a nice climb. Well done, Tiger. That's it, over the rocks. That was the right way to come. Good effort.
I was working until I was told go and get a funnel. This funnel.
And it won't even fit.
It fits enough. You're playing with fire there. Microphone's in your pocket. Microphone's in your pocket.
It is beautiful down here at the Snowy River. Absolutely gorgeous. So we're going over the bridge over the Snowy River. McKillop's Bridge.
We're going to move on with the subcommittee reports, and Chris Treble is going to be our first one. So if we could move on to Chris. Are you on there tonight, Chris?
Yeah, I'm online, Ian. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to another month. Sorry I can't be there. People, if there's any participants there tonight looking for the certificates, apologies, I haven't got them back from four-wheel drive Vic yet. We had a busy month in the month of April, a total of 18 new members we welcomed to the club, including Gary and Linda Jewell, Andrew and Jenny Kirkwood, Julian and Sandra Bride, or Breed, I think it might be, David and Angela Lloyd, John and Jodie Hughes, Brian Innes, Lorenzo Barron, Gavin and Diane Banks, Neeti Kennedy, and Angus Michael. And we also had Martin and Kristen Haskett attend and finalise their DA. So total of 18 members attended on the during the month of April, which was running late May. It's a great weekend. The weather was perfect, and we got off scot-free and all got away on unscathed. It was a really good weekend. A very another supportive and attentive group. So we go up again, not next weekend, the weekend after, and we've got a smaller group next time. So 14, a few people have withdrawn, which is a bit unfortunate, but I can't do much about it. But we're still plugging away trying to get people in.
Lean forward there, Chris.
There's still a lot of people that are joining the club. So we're going to run, like I said, we're not going to run the advanced course in July. So we've got enough members to try and clear out. Even the new members coming in are back, creating a bit of a backlog, which I've got to try and keep on top of as well. So everything's fine though. Everything's good, and the property's looking good. And thanks to the ARC maintenance construction group, the tracks are looking a lot better than what they have been for some time, and the place is clean, which is all good. So I think that's all for the month. So thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Chris. We noticed your face disappeared, so it looks like your virtual background has taken over, probably because you're in the dark in your room.
Right, okay.
I was just gone inside the hut. Okay, yeah, right, that too. Liz, you'd like to come up next? Thanks very much, Chris. We'll work out some way to get those certificates to people. And tonight we've got Liz here, so we might do a couple of things.
Yeah, short old me, they have to adjust everything, I'm sorry. Lovely to see everybody. It's great to be back here. I'm really enjoying the evening and catching up with everybody. So let's get a few more people for next month, which will be really nice. Okay, chainsaw course. Well, there's a story. We had 10 very keen people and we had some, what you could only call really shitty weather. So the poor guys, they got as far as doing the theory and then they had to, four-wheel drive trainers had to call it off. They say it was too wet and it was too dangerous for them to go ahead. So my apologies to yard management who had organised 2 lovely big logs for them to cut up. They're going to be sitting there for a little while longer, I'm afraid. I have been in touch with Wayne and we're going to try and get another course for those guys running again as soon as possible. And if by any chance they have another course running through four-wheel drive Vic, they might be able to slot 1 or 2 people in there as well. So bear with me if you were on the course and didn't get to finish it. Hopefully something will happen soon and I'll let you know. So wheel bearing course, today I've had 2 people pull out. Now there are a whole lot of people on the waiting list. So if you are on that waiting list, get onto it quickly. I haven't had time, I'm sorry, to contact you today. We're going away at 6:30 tomorrow morning and I've had rather a busy day. So if you are on that waiting list, get onto it now while those 2 spaces are clear. Next on the list is the four-wheel drive maintenance course, 17th and 18th of July. It is full at the moment, but I think it's going to be fairly successful. We have a lot of people on the waiting list, so there will be another one run maybe early next year. And I'll announce tonight that the tyre repair course, we have David and Duncan who have kindly said they're going to run another one. So that'll be on October the 9th and 10th, and hopefully we will be in the new multi-purpose building, which is looking fantastic. We're yet to have all the internal bits done, and hopefully that will be done soon. But I think by October, Eric, we might have a working MPB. Definitely. That's good, but it's looking good, and I'd like to thank the boys who have been very busy organising, up to date, getting this building organised. They're doing fantastic job. For that tyre repair course too, if you're booking in, please just 1 person per membership, and anybody that wants to go up, family member, again, book into the normal YARC booking system. At the moment, that's all for me. I am in the throes of trying to organise a couple of more courses. So bear with me, and hopefully soon I'll have something else to let you know about. So great to see everybody and good night.
Thank you.
I'll wait it up again. Okay, so maybe a bit high. All right. So thanks, Liz. You guys didn't see that, but Liz was actually on her tippy toes the entire presentation. I thought that was incredible. Well done, Liz. Thanks very much. And fabulous to see so many courses there in the fold. That's just really, really good. Now, you're not on next. You're coming up. Have to shift you around a bit. Brian, no, sorry. I've got, what? No, I've got a different agenda from you, guys.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, so if we could now go to John Mills, who'll give us an update on the 70th anniversary, and then Brian Stewart, you'll be on just straight after John. Welcome, John.
Sorry, Brian, I got it wrong. Okay, good evening. And nice to see everybody.
let's see more next month. So I'm talking about the muster because Michael is not here. Sorry, I'm talking about the muster because Michael's not here. We have got some spaces left now. Victoria has got 28 already, and some of the other states haven't filled our quota. So if you want to go, please put your name down on Wild Apricot. I'll be away for a couple of weeks. Michael's away, so we might be a slow response getting back to you. But pretty much, if you put your name down, you're probably going to get on. There's still 7 car spaces left and about 23 people spaces left. So there's 2 different scenarios going on. So lots of stuff going on. They've now published a list of trips. There'll be a rotation of 5 trips. There'll be 5 trips every day, which will be repeated every day as long as there's demand for them. Those of you who are going, they're looking for some trip leaders to help out on that. So if you've got a yen to have a go at running a trip, pretty much they are all ready to go. It's just a matter of someone taking charge of the trip. All right? So that's it for the muster. The other thing I want to talk about, just looking forward a little bit, is that the national gathering in 2022 in Western Australia, they are now starting to put some stuff out to the clubs, and we want people to obviously go. West Australia are a very active club, and we were over there last year and had a lot of fun with them. So their dates are the 14th to the 18th of October. There again, they'll be running trips every day. It'll be in the Margaret River region. The base, as far as we understand, is going to be Dunsborough. And so something to put on your calendar if you'd like to go. So I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later on. But there's stuff out there which if you want to know. So please think about putting your name down now. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And we've got Brian Stewart next. He's going to, now you're doing the video before or after? Okay, I'll let you guys sort this out. Over to you, Brian. Welcome.
Thanks, Ian. Good evening, everybody. Good to see lots of friendly faces here again, a few new faces. It's good to see too. Magazine this month, the maintenance weekend report is on page 20, and there's quite a few pretty good photos in there that the guys sort of took on the weekend. And Michael's going to be showing us some photos or video or whatever it is that he's put together. Yeah, there's been a fair bit sort of happening up at the Ark. We've been in more or less catch-up mode. We're trying to, catch up with all tracks and bits and pieces, and cleaning up, making sure that everything's sort of in order. I appreciate the feedback that I've had from driver training. That's been good. Yeah, we've removed a lot of tea tree up there, and there's a few big piles of tea tree. This coming weekend, I've organised with the local CFA. They're going to come in and do a burn for us, sort of a controlled burn. So, and it's a training weekend for them as well, because the local captain said that he's got some new people on the team, and they just don't understand the extent of radiant heat. So they're going to get plenty of radiant heat when all of that stuff goes up. So if you're up there, just sort of be careful around the area where they're working. We've got work to be done down in the Cruisacana competition area, cleaning up there. That's all our regular maintenance sort of items, and the guys are sort of checking out the solar and the cameras and all that. So there's plenty to do, and we can keep you busy. I've got, I think there's 5 newer members who haven't been up to a maintenance weekend before, booked in for this coming weekend, and there's a few that said they were coming but haven't booked in yet, so you better get on the ball with that one. But it's just great to see all these faces again. And I must admit, you're looking around, probably looking at me too, there's a lot more grey hair around than there was sort of 12 months or 15 months ago when we had our last meeting here. But that's part of getting old, I suppose. Anyway, so looking forward to seeing you up there at the weekend. Thanks, Michael. Thank you.
We'll go to the MPB now, and I've called on Eric to do that. And then Eric will give us just a little bit of insight into anything that's happening at Four-Wheel Drive Victoria. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Ian. How's it going, everyone? I see some smiling faces again. Been a long time, but I guess it's worth the wait. I hope we get more people here. It'd be fantastic. Now, the MPB, we have had the building completed, all but the roller door. The roller door got damaged in travel, and although it's hung, we defected it and told the guy that you don't buy a new car with a dent in the door. So a new roller door is coming up on Saturday, and Peter Birchall and myself and some of the other MPB committee people will be there to accept it and do a final defects inspection on the building. But by and large, at the moment, we accept the building and pay the final payment. We own it. At the moment, we don't own it contractually, but that's cool. Last weekend on Saturday, we met with the user groups of the club who are going to use the facility. That's from Cruisacana, from education, trip leaders, the Yark maintenance construction crew, and the various others who are what we consider the main users of the facility, to ensure and validate that the fit out inside is exactly what they, or if it, 2 or 3 years ago, a review was done of the user group's needs. And we wanted to validate that their needs were still the same as then, but there wasn't much change. And we've looked at some other ways of storage and the like, rather than using commercial cupboards and the like. We're going for the Bunnings style storage racks and steel cupboards, to putting things like tyres and hardware that the various training groups will use. We don't want to have melamine cupboards and things like that that will end up being destroyed. Apart from that, we'll meet the stage 2 budget with the way we've planned it at the moment, which is more important. So, one of the members has asked for a timeline video of the construction. I gave Laurie some photos this morning, which she's going to pop up.
Doing a great job there, Alan.
Yeah, make a mess, you've got to clean it up.
Bit more firewood.
Oh, well, we did firewood splitting yesterday. This is just all the bark that came off it, so.
So what happens to the bark? Into the fire as well? Good to see Neil working hard here, sweeping up all the bark.
Gotta keep the place neat and tidy.
Yeah, well done.
Can't have DA complaining.
Oh.
Actually, it's good, isn't it? It sort of makes your heart a bit.
And I think we need more children up here at maintenance, and they muck in.
Yeah.
You know, so he's a good lad. He can come again.
You're going to get some more work, are you, Megan? Oh. She's doing a good job, isn't she?
Well, this is just the first sweep.
The first sweep?
It's going to need a big mop tomorrow.
Big mop? Okay, tomorrow.
Get a bit of this stuff around the edges up, and then tomorrow. And I'm sure.
So you're actually doing what you actually said on the video before?
Yeah, just do it.
up to? Yes, I'm just playing. I'm doing my craft work.
Craft work? What sort of
Just
craft?
putting up a few little information signs for members when they're up at the Arc. Just helps run the place a bit smoother.
Okay.
With the address and the numbers?
Yes.
You worked it out, Traco? Have you worked out what's going on?
Yes.
You have? Got a new box for your battery?
We have, yeah. We will probably use this one.
Oh, going over there now, okay.
Yeah, we're working out
Good,
to do it.
good. And this will supply power to the Hilton and the multi-purpose building, I believe.
We still have to work it out.
Still have to work it out?
Yes.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, I am the Secretary of Four Wheel Drive Victoria again. And I've gone in there with a purpose in mind, not just to be the Secretary, but to, as you all know, that Four Wheel Drive Victoria 6 or 8 years ago was virtually bankrupt. And now it's got something like $700,000-800,000 in the bank and about to get its next tranche, a grant of $250,000. And so consequently, they want to invest that money into a building. And because as Bruce said before, 0.01% on your money is not worth a cold pie. So effectively buying something like a big warehouse, come factory or whatever, and convert it into a meeting place for all the various clubs and the like. So there's a survey gone out amongst all the clubs, and effectively we are having a strategy meeting on June the 5th to discuss the survey. We have a facilitator who's going to manage that for us and go through the survey to see whether or not the various clubs are in favour of this, but more to the point, so we can develop a business case and see whether our money is going to be well invested. At the end of the day, the money belongs to the clubs and the like. So there are those who would like them to provide the club members with lesser fees, which is something a couple of us on the board are trying to push as well, to reduce the fees, given the amount of money we're getting. But we're not always guaranteed that that grant is going to come. So at the moment, Four Wheel Drive Victoria is on what's called an advisory committee, which is Parks Victoria, DWELP, Department of Water, Environment, Land, Water and Planning, can never work the acronym out, and us. So there's 3 organisations that advise the Ministry of Environment on what four-wheel driving can do for Victoria. And as you all know, or those that are in the know, those that don't know, we're able to show to Victoria, Environment Victoria, that we provide, I mean, we, not just Toyota Land Cruiser Club, the entire state of clubs provides something like $3 million worth of benefit to the Victorian population through cleaning up the bush and various other projects that we get involved in. Keeping the tracks open during the summertime, locking tracks off in the wintertime was an initiative set up by Four Wheel Drive Victoria. Otherwise, we're going to lose the tracks. So that's a big positive for all of the clubs. And you might note that during the summertime, a lot of New South Wales vehicles come down into Victoria because all their tracks, just about decent tracks, have been closed off. But the next thing on my agenda is that whilst we're on the advisory committee, I'd like to see us get gazetted. And once an organisation in the government is gazetted, then your grant or your funding is guaranteed. You don't have to put up applications every year to get it funded. So that's really what I've come on board to do, and with a bit of luck, as we and those who know the history of Four Wheel Drive Victoria, it wasn't a pretty place to be in about 6 or 8 years ago. And when I was there, and we cleaned it all up. But anyway, moving right along, I can see that as a great benefit to Four Wheel Drive Victoria clubs, in that if we're funded by the government, we're gazetted by the government, that means that we won't be chasing funding anymore. Is that a question? No, sorry. All right. So moving on, as Sandra alluded to earlier, the Mount Skeen permit system has been signed off and approved for 2021. So details of the permit application is on the 4 Wheel Drive Victoria site. So if you log in as a member, because you are all members of 4 Wheel Drive Victoria once you become a member of the club, click on track permits in the member resources section. On the e-news that most people would have got, there's been a fairly intense push by DWELP and the rangers and police on illegal trail use in Victorian forests. A lot of motorbikes and cars are going in there and doing a lot of damage to bush bashing, pushing the bush over, and trail riders without licenses and all that sort of thing, using the tracks. And as we all know, when you come around a corner, you see one trail rider, there'll be 3 more following them. And hopefully they don't end up wrapped around your bull bar. So that's something that's a big push at the moment. The RTO update day was facilitated, the conference room at Manningham. Anyway, I won't go into that because it's in the e-news thing, but more importantly, 4 Wheel Drive Victoria are leading a blood donation program. So if you get onto the website at 4 Wheel Drive Victoria, it's called Lifeblood Challenge Facebook group. And and you read the business about that, you'll see that so far they've donated something like 25 litres of blood by various people going in there since it started about 2 weeks ago. And the seasonal closures are upcoming, as we all know. After Queen's birthday weekend, the gates will be locked. So if you want to do a trip, get up there straight away and get it happening. Yeah, so the survey is important. To get on the 4 Wheel Drive Victoria member feedback survey, there's an email that came out for the clubs. Click on the link, the hyperlink there, and you can go straight to it. Now, the feedback survey, Sandra, have we got that out to everybody yet? Because it needs to come back in by May the 21st. Yeah, there are about 11 clubs have responded, but they're all 30 and 40 member clubs. So, you know, they may have, we don't want to have 30 or 40 member clubs have a big impact on the decision that's made. Yeah. So if you can get on, there's only 5 questions on the survey. Why did you get involved in 4-wheel driving? What is the benefit to you? What is the benefit as you see to the club and the like? Who they are here. How likely are you to recommend 4-wheel drive Victoria to others? What aspects of 4-wheel driving give you the most pleasure? Socialising, getting out into nature, pushing my vehicle to the limit, discovering new tracks, etc. 4-wheel drive Victoria provides many services to 4-wheel drive community. Which aspects of their role are they doing well? Well, a lot of people don't know what 4-wheel drive Victoria do because we're more interested in our club than the organisation, the political organisation. In what ways could 4-wheel drive Victoria improve to ensure it meets your 4-wheel driving needs? And the last one is, overall, how satisfied are you with 4-wheel drive Victoria products and services? So if you can answer that, that will make our strategy day work. There you go. So I'm finished. Over to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Eric. All right. So we'll now move on to Geelong report. Alison Williams.
Hello, Ian. Hello, everybody. Sorry we couldn't be up there this evening. We've been very busy in Geelong. We've had a great evening at Battery World. Roger and Vivian own the 2 stores in Geelong, in Fine Street and also at Warm Ponds. They're very kind to host us a late Saturday afternoon. Told us all about lithium batteries and deep cycle batteries, and broke one apart, showed us how they work. I don't know if anyone else, but I'm a visual person and I love to actually see the workings of something. So it was very interesting to see the batteries and the weight of the lithium. Unfortunately, lithium's not good under the bonnet because of the heat it generates. And very kindly gave us all a show bag with all sorts of little torches and batteries and packets of batteries. and send us off with that, and also 20% off anything we purchase on the evening. So they're happy to have one later in the year. If anyone's interested, come on down. They're very hospitable. And then we went out for dinner afterwards. It was lovely to catch up with everyone. And we also had a great guest speaker at the last meeting, which was the new manager from the Geelong ARB store. His name is Baron Connell. And also the business development manager from ARB came along, Andrew McIntosh. COVID's been very, very good to ARB. They've been amazingly busy. Road-based touring has skyrocketed and they've not been able to keep up. They've introduced, BHP approached ARB about some new fire pits because BHP have a new type of steel called red core, which doesn't rust, it just builds up a patina. And they bought in 2 laser cutters in at the end of 2019. So they wanted to keep the team busy and put those to good use. So they designed the fire pit. They initially made 1,000 and they've already been sold. So they've been snapped up. Demand for bull bars has just escalated amazingly. The lead times to products used to be 2 or 3 weeks. Now they've got a list of, if you want a Hilux bull bar, they've got 900 waiting, 600 for Rangers and 800 for the 200 series. The factory out at Kilsyth is running 24/7. They've put on extra staff and extra shifts, so they've been amazingly lucky with COVID. Although they've had to fit in with the COVID and the 33% during COVID, 33%, and they had to cut down the staff to 33%. They've now picked right back up. They used to produce 850 bull bars a week. They're now producing 1,900. That's across all the different models of all the vehicles. By the end of this year, Andrew said that ARB will be exporting more product than is sold internally in Australia, which is pretty amazing. And we checked the share price while they were with us. It used to be around about $13 at sort of February, March last year. It's now 38. So they've really skyrocketed in their sales. I guess they've also noted that they've had to pay 25% extra for steel, as Eric told us about the MPB. The steel price has skyrocketed. So they've also got a camp kitchen, and they spent 3 years designing that. That took 3 years to design, and they've also got a new roof rack that's aluminium, and that's being built in Thailand. They've run out of factory floor room at Kilsyth, and they're getting some more product from Thailand, I guess because it's aluminium. It's makes sense to do it over there. And a bit of other ARB, if you've got a Ford vehicle, not Toyota, but I know we have a few Fords in. Ford have signed a deal with ARB that Ford will now be engineering all of the aftermarket accessories that ARB provides. So they'll be working with ARB to engineer that. So it won't be ARB having to purchase a Ford vehicle and whip it into shape. Ford will be working with the engineers. So Ford engineers and ARB engineers will be working together. So that's, a pretty good outcome for Ford. Hopefully Toyota get on board soon. So that's all of us in Geelong. It was a really great meeting with the ARB guys and got lots of info from them. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, Alison. So we're going to move on now to our social report from Sandra Tanner. Just one point that came in the chat was just a mention about perhaps another first aid course, Liz, maybe if there's another one in the wind. Another first aid course, if you could think about that. Okay. Thank you, Sandra, over to you.
Busy. Good evening again. Okay. Okay, social. I've had a message from Angela. There's only a few places left. And if you like Japanese food, this place is brilliant. I can vouch for it, and I know there's others in this room that can also vouch for it. Their food is just outstanding. So if you have a look on the club website and book very quickly, there's only about 5 or 6 places left. So go for it. Special events, the Geelong show. Assistance has been abysmal. Nobody's put their hand up. At this point in time, there's only 4 of us. At this time, there's only about 4 of us that's going to be there from the 11th to the 13th of June. I know it's a long weekend, Queen's birthday, but it's an opportunity for us to get new members. We display our marquee and we will have Bradley's vehicle on display, and he's done quite a bit of work on it. But it's really disappointing that I've had no response from any members in Melbourne. I've only had 3 people from Geelong who have offered to be on the stand, so I would like to see some more people helping out. We will have the Mornington show coming up, and then there's the big one, the National 44 show coming up in August, and I'm hoping that we get a better response there, because we can't sell our club if we don't have you to help us sell it. And we can't do it with just a couple of people. We need your help. We need your help to set up, to be on the stand, just a few hours if you can. If there's enough of you, you only ask for 2 or 3 hours at a time. And it's a free entry, gives you time to go out and do some shopping at the same time. So you can do the show free of charge and just give a few hours to the club and try and sell the club to the public. So please keep your eyes open for the oncoming shows, and if you can help with Geelong, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Right, okay, we're going to move on to Viv next, and I thank you, Viv. You've been waiting there so patiently.
Hello, Val.
Hi. I answer to anything. Dad's calls me darling because he can't remember my name. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It's great to see trips being run again. I know the snow trips are anxious to get out on the tracks, so that's good. I'd like to thank our new trip leaders, Warren and Anita Sprigg, Brian and Rita Medanic, and Colin Hardy, who have trips being run, and Warren and Anita have just come back from running one. I appreciate the time that our new trip leaders have taken to run trips for the club. I know the members really enjoy it. I know the weather's getting a bit inclement now and trips will be a bit sparse, but as soon as the tracks open up again, I know all the trip leaders will be out there putting their hand up. We only have one trip at the moment with availability, and that's Alison and Chris's trip Cup weekend. They're doing it from Yakandanda. Baz and I are going to run a couple of day trips from Yark. It'll be the midweek after the Cruisacana set up and before Cruisacana proper. So keep your eyes on the website. I believe they're already up. And preference will be given to those people who will be helping at Yark with the Cruisacana. Now I've got a short video of our recent Desert Delight trip.
car you've got.
So I can slide into trees and not
Is that broken or the way it should be?
Well,
you can get your finger. Ow! Bloody hell!
Thank you. It's interesting, you know, every month we watch these videos and almost everyone I see lately, yours is edited by Viv Gardner. So I want you to talk to us, if you could, just for a couple of seconds about what's involved in doing it and putting it all together. And no, you said shush, Laurie. This is a moment of a lady to give us the words of wisdom. So tell us a little bit about what's involved in putting a video together.
Well, firstly, I need photos and videos from people when they go on trips to be uploaded to OneDrive. And then I just get the program that I use onto the computer, download the photos that I like or I think people would like to see, and put them into a timeline and rearrange them about 40 times and get into trouble from Baz because he's waiting for his lunch. And then find some music that I like and put it together and play it over and over and over again until I'm happy with it. And then I export it into a video. Then I watch it again, then I put it on the disc at the USB port and play it for Baz on the telly, and he picks on it and doesn't like some things and likes others, so then I go back and rearrange it again and again and again, but I enjoy it. So if I had a choice had another lifetime, I'd probably do something like this as a job.
Very good. Never too late. I wanted to just talk about the technical issue. What product do you actually use?
I use Filmora.
Okay, and that's the one, Filmora is the one that we ran the training course on, isn't it, Liz?
Yes. Yes.
That we ran, I'm putting Liz on the spot.
I don't know if Liz
during
knew
COVID,
about
we
it.
ran a.
Laurie did it.
Oh, was it Laurie? Yeah, ran a training course on.
Yeah.
What is it?
Filmora.
Filmora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not Fedora.
Yeah, no, I remember I was one of the people there, but I was half drunk yeah, I was half full of fills at the time.
You had a nice cap on that night.
Yeah, that's right. I had no hair. That's right. So maybe we should run another one of those courses. Might be a good idea. And then you can maybe lead it.
No, Laurie can do it.
All right. Well,
I'm not a leader, I'm a follower.
I'd like to say thank you for it, because during COVID, it's been really important to get the videos up on the screen and let people just see what's actually happening. And yeah, it was fabulous, the work you've done. So well done.
Thank you.
So one more question, Viv. I was just going to, sorry. The next trip leaders course or training, what have you got? What have you got planned?
It'll probably be a bit later on in the year because my trainers are going on holidays. no one wants to come out in the cold weather, so we'll be doing it via Zoom, I would imagine, until the training room's up and running, and then possibly we'll get up there one weekend.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
no
Fabulous.
worries. Keep your eye on the website.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on now. We've got Forge online. Forge, you're going to join us and talk to us about Cruisacana, and then straight after that, we've got a video from the 2016 Cruisacana that was edited by Steve McAdam. Are we ready to go to Forge, folks? There he is. Hello, Forge, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening all. Welcome. Well, celebrating the first day back at the club room, so that's good. Look, just want to give an update to everyone about the Cruisacana work. We did a lot of work this past month. We had a lot of people come and support us in terms of cleaning up the tracks. We did work to a number of the tracks. The Stuart Staircase was some work that we did there. The balance beam, we're doing some work around that. The Timber Challenge, there was work. The Rock Challenge, there was work. We looked at the sand trap and we looked at the cross country. There was a whole bunch of work people did. Largely, that was additional work over and above what the committee did when we went down there. So one of the things that we were doing as a committee that went down there last month was to walk the tracks, review the rules, see what made sense, made some refinements to our rules for the event. So, you know, there were people on hand that were previous marshals of the event, and we sort of brought them into the discussion as well, which was a great way for us to capture information. So Rob took a whole bunch of notes, and we sort of made a whole bunch of decisions on that day. We still got more maintenance work that as Brian has said earlier, there is still more work to be done around the track to keep that events area, bring it up to make it a more enjoyable place to maintain. I mean, we were there with the committee, and we sort of looked around and said, well, no one's been here for over a year, and so everything's overgrown, and we've got work to do to maintain and keep the grass low, take away some of the unwanted trees and the like. Another thing that we also kicked off this weekend, we started communicating with all the clubs in Victoria, past competitors, our sponsors. We've all reached out to them to say that we're on, we're back, we're ready to go, looking for their support to come through. And so far, we've had 6 sponsors sign up with us, the usual culprits, you know, ARB, Piranha, Terrain Tamer, Westprint Maps, always a supporter of ours, Safari 4x4, Arc Corp, and UGFM Radio, which you know, we use them to help us with the event. I've also had some early interest from a couple of the 4-wheel drive clubs. Al Rock has come back to us and said they're interested. Progero has also shown some interest as well, and so I'm kind of waiting another next couple of weeks to hear more of the other clubs as well. We are talking to we have. Oh, sorry, just one note. We have extended the Cruisacana committee. We'd like to welcome aboard Neil Chambers and Peter Canning. Neil's come back to help us this year as our Chief Marshal isn't able to be there on the day to conduct the event, and so Neil's come graciously come to our help here and to help us with the running of the event on the day. So really like to thank Neil for doing that. We also had one of the new members, well, newish members, Peter, last year put up his hand and said, look, I'd like to be more involved in the club. We haven't forgot about that. When people say they'd like to become involved, we actually take a note of it and do something about it. And so we reached out to Peter and asked him if he would help with coordinating our volunteers. So we will be doing more work to coordinate volunteers, one for the setup weekend, also throughout the year, just to help us help us get the event up and running, but also for the actual weekend of the event. So Peter's going to be, you'll hear more of Peter as we go along. I wanted to also talk about merchandise. Why not? So there's a whole bunch of work that we're doing with the committee members, and we're wanting to do a little bit of a change in the way that we have merchandise. We want to actually attract people to the website and have them order some of the merchandise from the website rather than us purchasing a whole lot of merchandise and have it sit there. So we think that's probably a better way to do it. Rob and Rob at the moment is taking the lead on that. But look out for that. We hope to advertise the merchandise and the website in the next few weeks. I'm putting pressure on Rob by saying that, but that's essentially what we want to do. And we want to have people go to the website, make their orders, and that way we can order and get better deals in terms of what we're trying to do there. So keep that in mind. We are going to launch that soon. We've done a lot of work in the background around that. We've got still more work to do. We're not quite there yet, but we're expecting to do that. So big week, a big month for us actually. We're sort of now starting to ramp up. Logistics have kicked in. Our sponsors have kicked in. Our reaching out to all past competitors and clubs, as well as our sponsors. So that's happening. So you'll see a lot more activity for us over the next few weeks because it's all getting real for us now, and we need to prepare for October. Now, Laurie, I think we have a video, so I'll just throw it to you, Laurie.
Stop for. Oh, he's stoked.
Right, this is the rock climb event. The object of this event is for the driver and navigator to work out the best line to overcome a steep, rocky obstacle. it's a test of skill for the driver, but also the navigator in choosing the correct line for the navigator, for the driver to get up a steep, rocky incline.
Well done, James.
Now this event here at the TLC is the sand track. The object is to drive forward through the course without touching sand flags, bumping flags, becoming stuck or to be recovered. Points are given for touching, knocking over of flags, and also they have to stop on a coloured marker at the end of the course. This course is fairly difficult because you have vehicles with different widths, different body lengths. We have short wheelbase, long wheelbase, wide, narrow, so therefore every competitor has to drive the course differently.
That's right.
Oh wow, that was good. I like that. The mud lap, the bog hole. Sorry, the bog hole and the mud lap, and the rock climb. My goodness, I covered my eyes a few times with that. So thanks for the people that have been putting together those videos, Steve, and I know Viv does some as well. So that's great from us. Over to yourself, Ian. That's all from us this week.
Thank you, Forge, and we'll move on. So, the Hook Award is awarded to somebody who's done the biggest stuff up, or somebody who needs to be recognised for something. What we'll do is the one that thinks that Sharon should get it, or should it be Andy? Please yell out now. Andy. Yeah, right. And those that think that our illustrious treasurer Bruce should get it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, mate. Bruce, you brought it here. Come on up. Yeah, Bruce, you're the one. Mate, I tell you what, you got sucked in. But you know what? I'm really delighted by the fact you're going to get it so soon. So here you go.
You wouldn't believe it. I went and picked this up from Steve tonight.
All right, so look, I'd like to say thank you all for coming tonight. And for those of you that join us either on Facebook or Zoom, this is an historic moment for the club. And certainly it's been testing. My nerves are just about shot. I'm going to be ready for a coffee after this. Look, although it's been a tough night in a lot of ways, and leading up to getting here has been tough, we couldn't have done it without the help of Laurie, Michael and Rob. And truly it is just the amount of work that's just got to go on behind the scenes. And sometimes we're learning as we go too, because the parameters seem to change every time, don't they? And so I'd like to say thank you. Congratulations, Bruce, on getting the Book Award again. So you not only got the privilege of going to pick it up and bring it here, but you're actually going to take it home again. So well done. And that's about it. Our next meeting is booked for Tuesday, the 15th of June. I'd like to thank you all again for coming tonight. And I hope if you've got any feedback or comments, please, if you can direct it back either through the secretary or to the webmaster, that'd be great, just so that we can try to learn from it, and we'll see how we go next month. So that's it. Anything else? No? No? All right. Good night all. Thank you.